Tango 1 at the top, we are at pop on vehicle. 10-4, Tango 1, you have control. Tango 1 copy. Stand by. Stand by.
Integrity, passion, resilience. That's what this place was built on. That's what our community is founded on. Don't act like the example, just be the example. This is the home of the greatest fitness community in the world. We're trying to create strong, able bodies, resilient to injury with a gas tank to get shit done. If there's one thing from this podcast, it's about taking immediate action, find the problem, fix the problem. This is your opportunity. It's either a hell yes or a fuck no. It's that simple. You're ruining the Tango 1 podcast. Now is the time to take action. Now's the time to do more and be more.
Hey man, what's up?
We're back.
We're back. Nice to see you.
Good to see you.
Yes, let's get this thing rolling. I'm going with you can't see because my background here. I'm going with stouts today. So I've got a lot 10 thrift shop stout. I think you talked about that one before, and I got a GL, of course. Always stay true to my homies there, the shoots and ski. What are you drinking? What do you
A local brewery around here called Bud Light.
got? Is it close by?
Yeah, just around the corner.
Yeah, Bart and I got in last night. We two of us took down 1.34 or 1.75. That's my math skills. 1.75 bottles of Cavy last night from Wolfhead Distillery, and I don't even feel that bad. And we weren't even that bad. I mean, Katie says we were worse than I thought we were, but I don't know. It's a good time.
How'd you feel this morning?
No problem. I was up 8 a.m. man. I was at the gym. I did a workshop. So that's one of the things we've added since you left. We're doing a strength squad. We're doing a workshop to start every phase. So instead of, it's kind of saves me time in class. So I'm able to teach, like today I taught the back squat for like just 20 minutes, really intricate, like talk about like very, very technique driven. And then tomorrow morning in class, they've already heard it and it's 5 a.m. and we have to have them out on time because of the new restrictions with, the 10 people per class and all that nonsense, right? So we have to have them out. So it's been like, I think it's gonna be really, really great addition. Plus I taped it. And I let the coaches get on there. So my coaches, our team were on there listening. I sent it out to all of them. And then I'm going to have Riley build some content with it.
Good. And you guys are doing a lot of the stuff with Prescript right now and Dr. Jordan Shallow. Is there a lot of new techniques you're coming up with, or a lot of kind of things that you find are benefiting or growing your own techniques?
Well, you know what? With the muscle doctor, Jordan, you guys heard him on the podcast. He's just ridiculously smart and so knowledgeable in how everything's working and like with his cueing. And the one thing he's drilled home with us, and so funny because I felt like when I was looking to sign up for this course that maybe I wasn't going to take it because I felt like if there's anything I'm comfortable in the gym, without the actual fitness background that a lot of trainers have, it's the big three lifts, right? Bench, deadlift, squat. So, especially the Westside Barbell stuff, I'm learning so much from Jay and Gus. And he has us doing some things. It's just fine tuning these little movements. And we're like really emphasizing the setup.
Right.
So if you probably read this on the internet and stuff, but like if you're cueing so much during the movement, your setup probably sucks. So we're fixing so many problems before anybody even moves. Right. And then the cueing the movement is very, very low and simple. It's been awesome to do, and it's been awesome to watch our coaches kind of.
Because you're already in that position, right? So if you're setting up for the squat properly and engaging your back and your lats, you're already keeping yourself in that good posture, and then you're not worrying about it through the descent phase, basically.
Yeah, like rip the floor apart, lock those lats down. A lot of it is like same things we've hit, but just different ways of saying it. And then all of it, like, bracing the core. And even like from just taking 2 steps back. So remember in strength squad when we went and tested up at Gus's, one of the biggest problems for us, you remember like Bill and Mike Scott putting tons of weight on there and then having to step back to get into your position. Right. We don't have the monolift that we had at Gus's, right? So without that monolift, you got to step back with, 5, whatever your max is. It doesn't matter. It's like more weight than you've ever lifted, right? Because you're going for a PR. And you have to step back with that. Just setting yourself for long-term success by setting up the same every single time. Just like when you would go to the, you and your center would take the snap the same every single time because the setting up was making sure that the ball got into your hand properly, right, to throw the ball. Kind of the same idea.
And then it just becomes second nature. Then you could actually start to focus on more kind of detailed.
Right. So instead of like, we had a deload week last week. So instead of repping the hell out of like the reps of the deadlifts, like, like with 4 sets or 5 sets of 10 or 15 to get the feel, we actually did the opposite. We went like 12 sets of 2 with the idea that we're going to rep the setup 12 times.
Good.
It's just a really cool concept. I wish you were here to hear more of this.
Yeah. No, that's good. No, it's good. Everyone who I've talked to so far who's been doing that program is loving it. They said they're learning a ton, and it's just a cool, different perspective on it, right? You get so locked into one certain way of doing things, and then to hear another side of it, and you get to see what interacts and what's different or good or bad, I guess.
Yeah, the cool thing that's been happening is the tactical life program, right? So the strength squad is just a branch of the tactical life program, which is like attacking mindset, weakness, and perspective, all those things. And it's not, I have like a handful of members and clients and like online people, and they're all getting so much from like setting themselves up to win all day. You talk about setting up,
right.
Like setting up for a movement. They're also setting up for their day. Like they're getting their training at 5 a.m. They're pre-planning the night before. Like they're being like super proactive in the morning, right, so that later in the day they can be reactive when you need to be. And it's just been awesome. I've been loving this, like this tactical life, like the mentorship program. I've been loving the strength program. It's just been awesome, man.
Yeah, it is a huge thing getting that stuff done out of the way. Like now that I'm on a more kind of structured schedule here, I've been trying to be as consistent I can with the morning workout. And then it is like, depending what happens in the day, you've at least got that workout in, you've at least accomplished it and done something. Right. And then at least if you're busy with school or you're really practical that day and a lot of hands-on, is you aren't now making any excuses about, I don't need to work out tonight now because I did a bunch of stuff there. Is it's already out of the way and it's one less thing to carry throughout the day.
Yeah, absolutely. Because the rest of your day, you don't know what's going to come up, right? Like,
yeah.
So if you get that done, and our big listener, McGee, man, one of our biggest fans, McGee is like 12 weeks in a row, hasn't missed a workout. He's in the gym doing the classes now, man. And it's like, it's awesome. You should see him. He was over the other day. He looks fantastic.
Good. Good for him. It's good to see that.
And a couple of the women were really, really proud. We just did their before and after pictures, and the definition of these women, the difference in their bodies is unreal, considering like they had every excuse. They had COVID, they had this, they had that, and they weren't doing their precious cardio that they all, not all, I don't want to generalize too much, but that's always been the fight with us. So we've been,
right.
We don't need cardio to make yourself look the way you kind of want to look. And they're starting to believe, which is like, it's like a big win. It's like, yes,
it's good.
I want to say like, I fucking told you so, but like, just
it is that I told you so moment though for a bit, right? And it's good because it's just ingrained in you that cardio is running, biking, rowing, skiing, which it obviously is, but there's so many more ways to target that and such more practical ways of targeting it. So yeah, it's good to see people catching on to that idea. Is like, you can just work out lighter and faster in proper technique and form, and you're still building that lung capacity because you're just moving faster. You're moving your body quicker, and you don't necessarily have to go for a 40-minute run and beat the hell out of your joints when you can do your workout, but just change the pace of it and kind of kill 2 birds with 1 stone on that aspect.
Yeah, throw a little bit of conditioning in, on Tuesdays and Thursdays is what we do. And what we also do a little bit more strength work there, some accessory work, make sure they're healthy. And yeah, you need it for your cardio. But I think that people also kind of underestimate that the aerobic capacity going up actually helps you on your strength days. So that, when you get to that six set of 2 at 90%, say, you have it in your lungs. Because like, you're breathing heavy, man. You've only done 10 reps. And, if you've ever deadlifted, I know you have, but listeners, deadlifted like your heaviest, 6 sets of 2, like you're gassed, man.
You're gassed.
You're gassed at the end of it. So it's been super important. So I want to welcome everybody to the Tango One podcast. I am thrilled to have my partner back today, Casey Wright. He's up in Richmond Hill, just outside of Toronto, doing Inspire School. We want to talk a little bit about that today. And we got like a Q&A kind of on the schedule. So little different episode. We're just gonna shoot the shit, have some fun, have a beer, catch up, and answer some great questions that we had come in from some listeners. So speaking of that, how is your fire school? It's not really, I mean, it's your job. We keep calling it school,
Yeah.
but because you're kind of in class, so just kind of fill us in, let people know how you're doing. I'm sure they're curious.
Yeah, it's good. It's been a lot of fun. It's been like challenging, and it's the first we just finished week 6, which is crazy. The first few weeks were very kind of, I guess, theory based. A lot of it was like being back in university, sitting in a desk, sitting there from 8 till 4:30, taking notes, and so that was a big changeover from being on my feet and coaching all day. But then now this past week we got into the practical stuff. So we were moving all week, crawling around in our gear, and it's just been fun. We've been learning a ton. Yeah, getting to learn as much as we can. We've got a great group of guys. There's 10 of us in this class right now, and it's just like guys from all over the place, kind of all over Southern Ontario. We got a pretty big stretch of kind of age categories, but it's just been fun to see that locker room atmosphere again. You come in like day one and everyone's shy, no one knows each other, everyone's tiptoeing around, and by the end of week 6 now everybody's shooting the shit and getting along, communicating really well when we're doing stuff. It's just fun to see the whole thing mold and shift around. Like it is literally like that locker room feel again, and you're doing it for a job. So it's been great.
Very cool, very cool. So the 6WT is coming to a close this week. If,
Yeah.
by the time this airs, actually no, we're going to be airing this in just a couple days. So 6WT is coming to a close. It's been unreal again, man. People are killing it. Like, I don't know if you saw my post today. New guy Steven Ingrata, he destroyed it. I just love seeing these new people come in and just like. And then I had my closing interviews with them this week, and
Yeah.
the differences that people are experiencing, it like, and the belief, like the lifestyle belief, instead of
Right.
just the pounds, instead
And
of just
that's
the weight. That's so big for me.
And that's like the whole goal of it, right? I know every year we do it. I think it's transitioned more and more. Like I'm still part of the planning phase with it, but I'm interested to hear some more about kind of where it's gone with it, because there's a lot of people. I know my mom's doing it as well, and she,
Shout out to
it's
Brenda.
yeah, it's good that it's gotten away from, a few years ago when it was like weigh yourself every day and look at a number. It's awesome to see the people, and like you said with Steve, I read his post yesterday, and the main focus on it is measuring successes on somebody I haven't seen in a while was like, holy shit, what are you doing? Right? You look great. You can see it in your face. You can see it, like, I don't know what it is, but I can see you're looking better. Your body's shaped better. And it's not about, oh, I've lost 20 pounds. It's like, I've toned up. I've changed my habits. I'm getting up earlier. I'm eating better. My skin's clear. It's cool to see the transition now from what it kind of used to be measured of in the way of weight loss to healthier habits, and people being like, it's a win because I now don't eat this shit anymore. And it's a win because I lost a little bit of weight, but my neck's thinner and I'm happier and I'm getting up earlier and I have more energy for the day. It's great. And
Well, it's bigger wins. It's bigger wins than a couple of pounds. I had a call, and I won't use names because I don't want to get too personal. But somebody who had acid reflux so bad that they couldn't sleep at night, and that their ankles and feet were swelling so badly that they were having trouble doing up their work, their construction boots. And the call, this is only 5 weeks, man, and absolutely gone. Acid reflux is gone. So you go to a doctor, they give you these pink pills for acid reflux. They don't even ask, what are you eating? Like, yeah, like, like I feel like Danny's doing more for these people's nutrition and their health than sometimes going to a doctor, which is crazy. Like the first thing you should be looking at is, what are you ingesting, right? Like if you're ingesting poison, your body's going to react to the poison. And the boots don't fit, or now are fitting. There's no more swelling in the feet. Sleeping, how much? I mean, just forget about the awfulness of acid reflux. If you ever had that, I got a little bit going on from that whiskey last night myself, but if you ever had that acid reflux, that's terrible. But if you're not sleeping, imagine now what that's compounding into your issues and your problems. Like it's dumbfounding. Here's a great story for you. So I do a call with one of the new guys, and he's got a great sense of humor. And I don't know, Zoom has really changed things too. It's so much more personal to be able to get on a phone call with these guys
Right.
and girls and like actually have conversations. So he's like, oh, like I'm so happy with my results, and I'm starting to see some definition in my chest and my shoulders. And so I look, I'm like totally calm and like straight face. I'm like, well, let me see, take your shirt off for me. And he's like, he does like he like looks around his room to see if anybody's watching him, and then starts to unzip his shirt. I'm like, I'm just fucking with you. I'm just fucking with you. He starts dying a lot. It was like, if I could have recorded this, man, it would have been amazing, amazing content.
That's good though. And it is true. Like Zoom and the online portion of it, it's almost like it's a it's a positive out of everything because you probably would have never done that before. Right. I remember before we had talked like going through it and it's like, how can we sit down and talk to everybody? How can we organize these calls or have someone come into the gym and sit down for 30 minutes? What an advantage it is now to be able to just jump on a video call with someone and you can get so much more in a day. You can communicate so much more like you said personally, right? It's you're on the phone with somebody, they're in their own home, like people are comfortable to now actually talk about goods and bads and whatever's going on in them in their
Yeah,
trans.
and I'm saving crazy time by doing this. Like these phone calls, like I phone calls almost every day on this Zoom instead of like meetings. It's fantastic, and like I don't even want like to do a real phone call anymore when I have to actually speak to somebody for about anything really like longer than
Right.
like, hey mom, how you doing type thing. You can see the expressions on people's face. You can get a real good read. They can see that the passion, the like actual care that everybody on our team has.
Right.
That's one of the things we added to this 6WT was the brush your brain aspect. With all mental health being obviously at the forefront of everything going on with the pandemic, we thought it was important to like, and we just brush your brain for us is like 10 minutes of, something that's like going to give you some free space. Or maybe it's 10 minutes walking in the quiet, or 10 minutes listening to classical music, or meditating, or, reading a book. Just 10 minutes, a puzzle. And people are doing all sorts of different things. And this just 10 minutes that they're taking out of their day, these people are saying that is the one. So we've been asking, what's the one takeaway you're going to carry forward? And there's like, okay, I want to keep working out with people, but everybody's saying they're going to stick to that.
To
That's
that brush your
crazy.
brain.
Like that's
Yeah.
what's how wild this world is right now. That you just need 10 minutes alone is making a difference. Imagine if you have 20. You
Right.
just double that.
And it's crazy because like everybody has 10 minutes, right? But
Yes.
until it's a task or like written on your calendar, I need to take 10 minutes for myself and do something. You won't. You'll just continue with whatever's on your mind and going things. And yeah, what a crazy way to step back from the day. Like what's yours right now? The past few weeks, what's your daily brush your brain or
Mine,
a few of them you've been doing?
mine's been I put a puzzle. Danny bought me a puzzle for my birthday. I think I don't know what it was, but anyway, her and the boys bought me a puzzle. It's 1,000 pieces, so it's nothing crazy, but it's challenging as hell.
Mhm.
And I have it out right in front of the water, where we live, with a nice view of the water in the sunroom. And me and the boys, actually, I had no idea the boys would join me to do this every day.
Right.
They're in there with me, and it is actually and it'll be in an hour a lot of times, and it's like some of the best quality time I've ever had with my sons. They're both in there. We put on some like Riley's got me on the lo-fi beats, right? So I got the lo-fi beats playlist going. It's super relaxing, and my boys just talk to me, and they're, Colton, he's putting in more pieces than I am.
Yeah.
Braun's sorting by colors, and we're all having communication, it's teamwork. It's maybe
Awesome.
not completely blacking out, but yeah, it's working for me. It really calms me down.
Good.
It's been a lot of time outside. That's been the number two. It's been nice and
Yeah.
sunny here, but brisk. But I've been going and actually going outside. No phone, just playing catch, or even I sit at the table while the kids are playing. It's just been nice.
Good.
And you doing anything?
It's been like one thing is just walking and getting outside. Like it's something I never really did so much before. And I don't know if it was because I was always, when I was in Amherstburg, I was on call all the time. So I never wanted to like leave the proximity of the house too far. Um, but around here, yeah, Brooke and I've been going for like, even if it's crappy out, we just change it from an hour to like a half hour just to get outside and in the fresh air and walk around the neighborhood and just look at some of the beautiful houses in the area. But it's a nice kind of step away from from everything, especially the weeks where we're just swamped with courses and, you're in class all day, just focused, and then you come home and you got to study for a few more hours. It's a nice reset to just get back into that excitement to continue to do stuff. So I think that's been the big one that I've been pretty consistent with probably the last 6 weeks, is just at least at some point in the day going out for a little walk, or if not able to get outside, then I'll do a extra little core workout or something just to move. But
Nice. We had a really cool experience last week. Nikki and I were able to, honored actually to be invited to Elise's clinic into Team Rehab, and we helped them to set up. Basically, we ran a garage gym style. I mean, we didn't invent this thing; we kind of customized it to be our own garage gym style. Like our year-end meeting for them, it's like not really year-end, but it's their first like big meeting as a team.
right.
Help them to kind of establish the goals. We did that crazy drill that we do with you and our team every year. Well, like, what do we want you to do and stop doing? Where they had to go around the room and kind of scrutinize each other. And they were such a pleasure to deal with. And it's just so fun to go in someplace that's like, one, kudos to Elise and her team to just kind of like, the garage gym is not like I'm coming in from Walmart like a mega CEO, but
Right.
to listen and to see where some of the things we've done well and to help people kind of implement those was it was just such a fun day. Nikki was so pumped after it. It was just a cool thing to watch them bond, how the way our teams bonded. And I really hope going forward, as we continue to kind of work with them a little bit, that's going to continue to work out for them. So that's another kind of avenue of the Tango One Solutions thing that I've been pushing out. It's the second or third. I think that's the third or fourth team now that we worked with, and it's just that is one of my highlights. Like, I love doing it. It's a one day, but it's like get so jacked when I'm in there.
Yeah, good. And it is like, I think a lot of places should look into doing stuff like that. Like, it's crazy when you get, if you're working even a small business, if you get kind of a third set of eyes in there and explain the situation, there's probably a lot of things you're overseeing just in your team communication, like a lot of way your business is being run, that it's not a very complex fix, but it's just something that, through your kind of narrow window, you're not going to see right away. And having someone come in for a day and kind of run the meeting or take charge, I think is huge, because it's probably going to open up a lot of ideas. And obviously the way you do it, you do a great job at forcing those tough conversations out, and it's definitely a benefit.
Well, I think, like, I don't want to rip on other coaches or consultant. The consulting thing has gone, like, I don't know, they come across my Instagram constantly, and it's like, okay, well, what have you really done? Like, who are you really leading? Okay, you made some money, maybe you've had some success. I mean, you still live with your parents. Like do you have savings? Like, there's a lot to say. Like, what's success? So to get, when you like get a coach or a consultant, I think, like, and I have coaches and consultants, right? It's like you want to like pick somebody who you kind of want to emulate. Like,
Right.
you want some of the things they have. Like, and I don't mean that from like a selfish way or even like a possessions way, sort of more so. It's like you want either that security, or you want, and a lot of people are putting themselves up there as coaches, and like, okay, if my only experience was leading 4 people at the garage gym, I don't know that I can call myself a leadership. Like, I can mentor leadership, right? I think it's the experiences in the police department that really, really helped me to learn, and then coaching, all these, like, coaching in sports and all these things, learning from so many incredible people. Like, if you saw my Instagram today, Chris Lusso from the Blast Camp, like, I learned so much from that guy.
Right.
And applying those to like high stress situations with a lot of moving parts, I feel like I just have a real good grasp when I go in to kind of help people to lead and get the most out of their team and put people in a good position to succeed, because of that, like, kind of extra layer that I don't have in business, I have elsewhere, where I don't feel, I mean, it's pretty hard to get that kind of experience in most, like,
Yeah.
circumstances, right? And so
It's
been really
not
fun
your
to share
everyday
that.
experience. But yeah, that's true. And I think you made a huge point there with, picking a coach that you look up to, right? Is getting not just a coach, but getting the right coach. Because you can get a coach in whatever business or aspect you pick, but if it's someone who you don't necessarily want to be, then you're not going to continue to, like, they might tell you the $1 million answers every time, but if you don't care to get to that image, you're not going to follow it as hard, right? It's finding that person that actually, like, pushes you to reach them. And
Yeah, I
think,
just let go of a coach. Not let go of, like, I just basically said I'm done working with them. And it was on the basis that, like, I don't know, like the things that they wanted me to do, like it's not that I wasn't comfortable. I mean, yes, I wasn't comfortable, but I'm not like a guy who's like gonna go on my Instagram every day and demand sales. And like, I know that's what you got to do, and I don't have anything against a guy like Ben Graham who's killing it. Like that is the way Ben does it. It's just not me. It's not the way I like to do business, and it has nothing to do with anybody else. And I was like, why am I trying to get mentored by somebody I don't really want to be like? And he's successful. He's a great person, that coach that I was working with. But it was just like, for me, it was like, this just doesn't fit me. So I'm looking for a different route. I got a few people in mind. Obviously, Dan and Joe have been, I wanted to emulate what they're doing. I felt like I got to that position with them.
Right.
And now the Nikki's learning from them. So, I mean, anything like, you in the fire department and everybody listening, it's not like you got to pay all these people or do all these things. Like me, I just mentioned Chris Lusso. I can mention 20 other guys on the police department that I've emulated and that I wanted to be like, and I've seen things even in the gym. So when you go in the gym, instead of like looking at the dude next to you who's got the big bench press, or the girl who's got like doing the things that you want to do, don't be jealous of them. Actually, like, approach them, spend time with them. I would almost guarantee you, if somebody walked up to me and was like, hey man, you got a pretty good bench press, and and I don't go to normal gyms anymore, but if they did, I'd be like, and they'd say, can you show me a few things? 100% I would. And I think
Right.
almost any person in the gym. So the more you spend time with those people, the better you're gonna be. So find somebody like that for you on the fire department is huge. And it's not like, it doesn't have to be a formal thing, but the more time you spend with the people you want to be like, and the more you learn about the people you don't want to be like, I think the better a fireman or cop or whatever you want to be, you'll be.
Yeah. And I think it's underestimated how much people above or in those teaching positions actually want to tell you. Like, there's so many people who are experts in their field that all you have to do is ask that opening question and they'll tell you fucking everything. Right.
And you know why? Because they have passion.
Yeah. And I think that's a big thing, is a lot of people don't want to bother somebody or take the time to ask because they don't want to, bug them or things like that. But there's so many, I know, especially, with our training officers and other like mentors of mine in the fire industry, like Craig, Steph's husband. I called him the other day and just picking his brain and stuff. And it's like, there's people in that position for a reason, and they are passionate and love what they do. So all you have to do is ask the question, open the door, and more often than not, they're going to tell you everything and more that you need to know or want to know. And just like any other type of conversation, you can take, like you always say, take some of it, none of it, or all of it. And it's just, now you've just been given so much advice from somebody who's been through that pathway to help you out with things.
That leads me into like thinking of something really great that we talked about this week in my household, actually, was that, like you said, they're there for a reason. And that's it. Like, it's not like, hey, Craig's doing what he did because, Craig Crawford is doing this and he's successful in the fire department because he got lucky.
Right.
He's there for a reason. And, Danny posted, she was kind of pissed the other day. It's like, somebody said to us, hey, your kids are so well behaved, they eat so well. You're so lucky. It's like, I want fucking lucky, man. This was intent.
Yeah.
There's a ton of intention behind this. Yes, I mean, when you listen to Luke's podcast, was there a little bit of luck in him making the NFL? Yes, but he's not lucky to be there. He worked so hard to be there. So if you want to be like Luke, if you're a young football player, reach out to somebody like Luke, or reach out to somebody who's like, Luke even said he reached out to a university player when he was in high school. There's somebody there for everybody. For everything you're doing, there is somebody, if you're willing to put your ego aside and actually learn and not be jealous of what they have, and it's insulting when you discount somebody. If you're looking at somebody in the gym who's got abs, they're not lucky they have abs. They worked very hard, and they probably work very hard every day to have that, that possession, for lack of a better word, right?
Yeah, and I completely, and I think that's a big thing, is like, there's so much to learn, and it doesn't have to be like, you don't have to ask a coach. They don't have to have a coach title in them. They just can be a superior to you or someone right alongside you. Like, I think that's one thing I've taken away over the last few weeks is we've got a group of 10 guys. I'm one of the younger guys in our class, and everybody in our class has done, either paramedic or they've been in fire for, some of the guys in my class have been in fire for 10 years on the part-time side of things. And it's like, we're learning obviously from the instructor in class, but I also have 9 other guys around me who all have experiences in fire, experiences in other aspects of work and life that I can also learn for. And I think that's what's been awesome and what's kind of made our whole group really cohesive is everybody's kind of picking everyone's brain, right? I think what's nice about this, and it might have took a few weeks to get there, but I think everyone's egos kind of checked at the door a little bit, and everyone, like, we're now that team, and everyone's like working together and not trying to be, I'm trying to be the top of the class, so I'm not going to tell you the answer to question 25. It's like, no, before the test, hey guys, what did you get wrong? This is what I got wrong. Here's how I know it, and vice versa. And it's like, I have the opportunity to learn from the training officers and 9 other guys in my class, and everyone's just sharing information. It's like, at the end of the day, you're working alongside these guys. You're working as a team. How much more shit can you get done if you got 10 guys on the same page, all working in the same thing, as opposed to everyone fighting for that same freaking, to save that one thing? It's just been great.
Absolutely. And you guys remember in the blast camp when you guys all had the face masks on, the black belt face masks?
Yeah.
It wasn't until you all started working like in one cohesive unit that you actually had any success. It's just crazy to watch. What the hell is Brooke doing? What is that? Are there the people above you?
Somebody's upstairs. Yeah,
it's like they're rolling around
in a basement apartment
chair, like non-stop. That was Brooke.
It might be her. I think she's spinning up there. She's probably jumping jacks.
Oh, nice. That's perfect timing. Perfect timing, Brooke. Okay. You know what? I do have a couple of questions that came in from some of our listeners, or what do you call them? Listeners, watchers. Anyways, so some of our fans will say. So here's one. That picture that was posted not that long ago, Casey and Corey. He was so much skinnier, and it wasn't that long ago. What did you do to kind of like thicken up? Because you have definitely in the last, like, I'd say like 6 to 8 months, I feel like you put on, whether that's measured in pounds or not, but I feel like you've put on some size.
Yeah, I think, if I look back to probably last year around the same time, was definitely a lot lighter coming out of the whole transition went from when I was playing football, I was a lot heavier than I am now. I was almost like 20, 25 pounds heavier than I am now. So when I finished that, I started to just cut down like crazy, which was almost a negative to it. And then the big thing, once we started training together, I think it was when we started doing the strength program, that first time around, kind of built a little bit of it. And then the second time we did that strength program, especially you and I think that's when it really started to grow. And a lot of it was, one, my diet. An issue I have that I think is talked about not enough with a lot of people is I didn't eat enough, right? A lot of people, that was a big thing for me, is I would run myself absolutely empty every day. I was, working out 2 or 3 times a day, but I was refueling for one workout a day. And so that was a big issue. So one was just starting to eat more, still healthy foods, but bigger portions. And then training. I think like we changed our training to be more practical in the way of we were lifting heavy and then a lot of accessory movements at the end of it, right? Is every workout we did, we would do a main lift at the start where we'd be doing, lots of sets, but low reps. So you're not absolutely killing your body, but you're getting a lot of reps and intensity in, and then just following it with those extra grueling accessory movements at the end. Is, when it says fucking 300 pull aparts, do 300.
Yeah.
Or, it's that 5th set of curls you don't want to do because you're not going to get 12 reps. Do it till you get to 8 and then take a minute and then get the last 4. And it's just like, it's sticking to those few things, I think, was the big thing that helped me was diet. And, don't cheat don't cheat the workouts. Get
Yeah,
through
and
everything.
you said something, you kind of alluded to it, you didn't really hit it right on the head, was with the strength squad and even with the garage gyms, regular memberships, we do the same things over and over. They might not look like the same things in the strength squad. You actually are the fucking same things. It's like the monotony of it is almost like it's
Yeah.
hard. But the less variation you have, the more, gains you're gonna make. So we in the garage gym, we're doing an RDL. I mean, one week it might be a single leg RDL, the next it might be with dumbbells, barbells. Like we're changing it up. We're not gonna make it like so boring and monotonous. However, we're doing variations of those same movements. We're not like, I know I'm gonna just say it at 45, like they're saying, hey, we're doing 200 to 300, movements. Well, like, the more variation, the less progress.
Yeah.
The less frequency, the less progress. And if you're only, doing a push-up, once every 90 days in your workouts, not one push-up, but if you're only doing the sets of push-ups once every 90 days in your workouts, your push-ups aren't going to get that much better. And that's just one exercise. So that's one thing is kind of like, sometimes it's like you're doing too much. You're all around the place. Like get some focus
and stick to it.
Go 3 to 4 weeks, almost the same movements, the same heavy lifts, add in the variations, or sorry, the what we do is for you is we're adding in, single joint movements like hamstring curls, something simple, tricep push downs, and they put some meat on your bones. Like the hypertrophy was happening, and that was what was getting you stronger, and then translating into more output on your big lifts. So the big lifts not crushing your body. A lot of people too, especially a lot of dudes, just want to get in and do all the big lifts every time, and then that's it. We just walk out of the gym. Where us, we're doing our bench press or our deadlift or our squat, and then we're working on the weaknesses and the intricacies of that movement so we can increase our output down the road. That's been
that was a big thing.
Working well.
Is just changing that up and taking the accessories more serious. And they say like building it is that 20% is your main lift, but 80% is the accessory, basically building all those minor muscles to protect and basically be the backup to your big muscles. So as soon as that main muscle wants to fail, those backup muscles are coming in to push the rest of the rep. And you can only get that by doing those accessory movements and high rep movements.
Yeah, and this flows right into another question that we got about this heavy lifting, because we do lift at the garage. We lift weights, man. That's like the number one thing we do. Even on conditioning days, we're lifting weights.
We lift weights.
But like you hear me say all the time, like I have like decent abs. You got decent abs. Like you're talking about pure aesthetics, but also with abs that aren't showing. There's a lot of people with very, very strong abdominal muscles that might not have exposed abs, right? But you can skip the sit-ups. You don't have. That's a question. Can you skip? They hear me saying it all the time. Like we don't need to do sit-ups to build up our abs, right? Yes, it is like isolation work. It's like doing hamstring curls. It will help. However, if you're like locking down perfectly tight, like you should be on a bench press, people aren't locking down a bench press. Like it's a full body movement. You're locking down, bracing properly on a squat, on a deadlift. And the other thing that we do quite a bit is jumps, explosive jumps. Like that, we don't do CrossFit. We're not doing a lot of. We don't do any Olympic lifting. Really, outside of some dumbbell cleans here or there, some dumbbell snatches here or there, kettlebell snatches. But we're using jumps to build some explosiveness, but also to create that kind of aesthetic look that that a lot of people, I mean myself included, are going for in the gym. So if you're properly bracing, you're putting yourself under load, you're gonna get some strong ass ab muscles.
Yeah,
Are they going to be exposed? That's genetics, that's diet, that's a lot of different things, but they'll be there and you'll be stronger for it and you'll be healthy.
Yeah, it's tying that into every movement you do. Like I remember I was working with a one-on-one client, and it was like, I don't know how, it was as simple as I could put it, is basically say if you're doing 100 kettlebell swings and you're just doing the 100 kettlebell swings, you're not fully finishing through with the hips, you're not embracing at the top, is all you've done is 100 kettlebell swings. If you now do that and you finish through at the top and you squeeze your glutes as hard as you can at the top of that rep, and you're also flexing your core as hard as you can at that rep, now you've done 100 kettlebell swings, you've done 100 glute squeezes, You've done 100 core squeezes, right? You've just added those 200 aspects into the exact same movement that's taking you the exact same time.
Right. And think about it the other way. If we just did like a, let's say a 10 by 10 squat, we don't do that very often, but a 10 by 10 squat. If you're not bracing, that's probably too much to hold you bracing, but you get what I'm saying. If we did a 10 by 20 or a 2 by 10 or a 10 by 2 something, 20 reps of squats. If you didn't brace yourself, if you didn't create tension in your body, you didn't do anything but move. So essentially all you did was cardio in bad position with bad posture. So if you're creating tension, your muscles are working. If you're not, you're kind of just doing jumping jacks, right? Really like a different look of jumping jacks. So be very cautious of, make sure that it's braced. Don't move until everything's tight. Focus on creating, torque from the floor up with every single movement. And that's how you're still able to train at a high level when you're 42 fucking years old. Because I am locking it down. Like, I am not worried about the guy next to me. I'm not worried about winning. I'm not worried about losing. I am worried about my form, my joints, my body, and that I am here. I want to be working out when I'm 75. I am not quitting this thing. And it's not like, to get a PR it's nice. It's fun to have, but I'm testing once a year, if that, and it's only for charity, it seems like, right? So like, focus on what's important and go for it. And long-term success is always going to be better than just going for today. Unless you have, like, if you were going to be doing a fire test, and that means that you have to do something, you are competing, you are going to get that highest mark possible in that day, and then you might crash. You're aiming for the roof, right? And I always say, you can hang from the ceiling, but you're gonna fall. And that's what you're doing if you're trying to PR all the time. You're trying to hang from the ceiling. In our training at the garage gym, we're trying to raise up the floor, because that's where you stand every day, right? The higher I can raise the floor, the taller I'll be, the stronger I'll be, right?
Exactly. And when it comes to core, just do planks. Do planks and put it into everything. Like, every workout, every movement you do, focusing on that proper form and technique and actually engaging stuff is what's going to make the difference. And that's where it also comes down to, like, time in a workout, right? You can that's when the difference between being at the gym for 3 hours or being at the gym for 45 minutes.
Yeah, I think the beauty of planks and hollow holds is that you're practicing your bracing too for your other movements.
Exactly. And if you go and do, 20 push-ups and you're not embracing everything, you've done 20 push-ups. If you do 20 push-ups and you make sure your form is on point, you're flexing your core and flexing everything you can, your glutes, your quads, digging those toes into the ground. Now you've done 20 push-ups. You've also just been planking for 40 seconds. So you're adding these components into everything you do. And it's just like, you got to look at it more than just the specific movement you're doing. Is I'm doing squats, but I'm also flexing my stomach. So I'm holding that core. I'm also squeezing my glutes at the top. So I'm following through with that lift. I'm driving through, and is everything you're doing now, you're looking at more than one component every time you work out. And it's just like, if you really want to break it down, your workout doesn't just consist of those 7 or 8 movements. It consists of 40 movements, but they're all just combined into those 6 or 7 movements. So that's just a different way to look at it.
Stand by.
Does your financial advisor take the time to really listen to you? Is your financial strategy personalized for you and your family? Will your financial advisor be there as your life and financial situation change? When you work with Stephen Kidd, your local Edward Jones financial advisor, he focuses on what's important to you. You work together and use an established process to create a personalized financial strategy backed by the advice, tools, and resources to help you reach your goals. And you'll partner to help your strategy stay on track. Contact Stephen Kidd today at 519-734-8599. That's 519-734-8599. Edward Jones, member, Canadian Investor Protection Fund. This episode of Tango One Podcast is sponsored by Ian and Kara Murray of Murray Insurance and Financial Services in Kingsville, Ontario. They are Southwestern Ontario's #1 ranked Desjardins insurance agency by their clients, and they're owned by our very own Kingsville OGs, Ian and Kara. They pride themselves in maintaining the high standards that the Garage Gym members have come to expect. They are experts in their industry with a combined over 100 years of experience. They are the best customer service in the industry, including claims concierge service, which is exclusive to their clients. And they focus on community, something that's very important to us, employing local team members and investing back in the Essex County community on a continual basis. They are a one-stop shop for everything to protect you, your family, and your assets with the best policies in the industry. And if you combine your home, auto, and other insurance policies together, you get an even better rate. Give their team a call today or send them a text at 519-733-2331 or check them out online at murrayinsurance.ca or on Instagram at Team Murray Insurance. Casey and I are proud members of Team HQ. That's HQ Nutrition. You can use code TANGO15, that's capital TANGO 15 on your online order. Go to hqnutrition.ca, use that code and get 15% off your entire order.
Did you get any questions from anybody?
Yeah, I got a lot here.
You got a bunch. Okay, we might be sketching this over 2 or 3 episodes. Now, why don't you go? You have a couple that you might have got.
All right, so this is Danny sent me a bunch earlier.
Danny, really? That's not listeners. This is like last
I
week's
believe they're
co-host.
from the listeners. They're from the listeners.
All
right.
I don't think she's setting us up here from the listeners bullshit. Dude. Anyway, go ahead.
So first one we'll go with is, while we're on the whole lifting thing, what's your proudest PR?
Man, proudest PR. This is Danny's question. My proudest PR is having my first child. So
Danny sent me them from everyone else. I didn't get names with the question.
No, I'd say my proudest PR is the one I worked the hardest for. Naturally, I think I'm good at the bench press, maybe because I did it every day growing up. I was that guy. But my proudest PR is my deadlift. I was very, very proud at 40 years old to top the 5.25 at 185 pounds. I'm pretty happy with that, and I'd love to see that one go up. That's the one that I'd like to see go up. The bench press going up happens here or there, but I'm proud of my deadlift.
Right.
Yep.
Good. Yeah, probably deadlift as well. And I think it was cool when we did it was at Jason's pull through. So it was like PRing was great, but also doing it in that group and for that charity was really cool.
Yeah.
It was just that was a whole fun weekend, but that was definitely probably the highlight since like maybe football. Football was fun too when we test squat and stuff because you got 80 guys screaming in your face when you're lifting. So those are always fun as well. Good. Here's one. If you were a TV character from any series, who would you be?
I gotta think about this one. Yeah, think about this, man. I think I'd be Ragnar from the Vikings. The Viking show. I love that guy, man. He's awesome. He's awesome. You?
Good. I don't know.
Stump the host. I won't throw them back at you anymore.
I didn't.
You're trying to read.
I didn't prep one.
If you haven't seen, I didn't prep, but I know this. If you haven't seen Vikings, they just released a few more episodes. I was so excited, and that's what the tattoos actually come from. Inspired through some of that stuff on my neck.
Your number one book recommendation right now.
That's funny. I actually answered this question, so maybe it's the same one. But I recommended today to Cindy Long to Man's Search for Meaning. Yeah. But it's just you've read that book too. It is outstanding. I mean, especially right now, hearing people complain about some of the things that they're dealing with. Man, read about what was going on in those camps during Hitler's unbelievable, and what this man's perspective on life and just the lessons you learned.
That's a great perspective book.
I couldn't have read it at a better time. I mean, that was another shout out to the Muscle Doctor. He would recommend that to me. It was right during our shutdown, and I was feeling pretty shitty. And that book it was like, man, I had nothing to complain about at all. Life is good. Life is good. Let's keep going. And then I really loved Shoe Dog, the story of Nike. Phil Knight. That one was outstanding. If you're looking just for a great story, if you're a Nike fan or business, it's great in both. And then both of us love the Green Lights by McConaughey.
Yeah,
probably the best. Your twin.
The best.
Your older twin.
Best book I've read in potentially ever. It was just something that was like hit home, and it was just, I couldn't put it down. That one was, I'd recommend to anybody, guys and girls who I have told about it and I've read it, have just absolutely loved it. There's so much to pull from it.
Yeah, I did the audio version, and he reads it with his like southern twang, and it's actually so entertaining. And it's inspiring. It's a great book. He's got a crazy story. That guy. It's awesome.
Yes, definitely. What else? What is your most embarrassing moment in the gym? These are all over the map.
So did you see when I took over stories? Somebody asked me what my most embarrassing or my favorite moment in the gym, and it was showing you tattooing my ass. But no, my most embarrassing moment. So I remember this vividly. I was telling it the other day, and it was I think it was like Kristen, one of our OGs, and Katie, who had been there forever, and I want to say Tara Doige, who listens to this podcast all the time. We're all sitting on there before COVID. Obviously, they're all hanging out, stretching, and like, you know, we're doing abs something after class. And I'm having my coffee, and I'm like gonna shoot the shit with them while we wait for the next class. And I put my leg up. I had shorts on. Don't worry, nothing fell out like that. But I put my leg up on a box as I'm talking, or to tie my shoe. Actually, I put my leg up to tie my shoe because I was gonna jump into class. That's what it was. And a pair of Danny's panties fell out of my shorts and right on the floor in front of these girls. And I remember like Katie looks at me so stone-faced. She's like, you dropped something. I'm like, oh my God, right? It's like a pink thong or something. It was so funny. So funny. There's been a few farts in the gym, but not me. Those are some of my favorite embarrassing moments for other people.
That's good. That is good. So I got a few because kind of this is the timing for me right now is what do you remember about going through police college, and what were some of the things that you did? And obviously it was probably a little different, but what were things that you loved about it? What were things that you wish you knew going into it? Yeah, just go off that.
So I'm writing the book right now. And I did one of the chapters on police college. I didn't think I was going to write about the police college. I ended up writing quite a bit about it. One of the things I remember most about the police college was I was 21. So I was in a different kind of boat. In police college, you get sent away for 3 months at that time. I think it's still around the same. Well, that was my first time being like out of the house for an extended period of time. I fucking loved it. And I was so shit at school. But at police college, when I had like passion and interest, I killed it. I mean, I was getting like 90s. I graduated like at the top of the recruits from Windsor. I had the best the marks of the people that I went up with, which has never happened in my life or anything. So that, I mean, it just shows that I'm watching it with my kids right now, that when you put somebody in something that they are interested in, they want to do, that they can really, really excel. And it felt effortless for me, where a lot of people were struggling there. I think it's just because I loved it so much. And then the camaraderie, man, like meeting people from all over Ontario and seeing different situations in different places. There's still people that I keep in touch with to this day that I met, and I was roommates with for a month, 3 months at a time. And it's just that for sure, it's the camaraderie. And I hope if that's anything, I've told you that before, that these guys and girls that you got hired with, I think you got a all guy group, but they'll be your friends for life. I mean, some of them might do the job way differently than I do. Some of them become the traffic cops, right? Or some of them become the pencil pushers, but they stay your friends. And I think that's the thing that people forget when you get into jobs like policing or teaching or nursing, is like everybody went there for the most part with a good heart and good faith. And if your career is going a different route, the politics and everything, like, just remind yourself that these are good people that you're around, and they want the best, and they're there to help people. So I say that all the time at the police station, and out at the gym, listen to other people bitch about the police station.
Good. And then another one, like, so you were obviously 21 when you got into police college, and then you were also one of the youngest to ever, when you got into the SWAT team, you were one of the youngest leaders kind of ever to come out, right? So what were some things that you had to overcome, or things that, what were some things you kind of had to overcome initially getting granted that leader position for the team?
Well, that one good thing about that, it was actually chosen by the team. I wasn't appointed there. Right. So I think that my bigger struggle, that was hard. It was hard to lead men that were older than me, that had families, that had, that were more established, that, had investments, like didn't just spend all their money going to Vegas and like things like that. Like that was hard to lead. But I think that the harder part for me, and where you're going with that question, is if you back it up, getting onto that team.
Right.
So also, like, people know my dad was the chief of police. He wasn't the chief of police when I got onto that team, but he was up there, right? He was an administrator. He wasn't a street cop anymore. He was up in management, and making my own name was important to me. I always felt like I had something extra to prove, because I didn't want anybody to think that I got this because of my dad, or I was here because of my dad. And sometimes, maybe even to my detriment, that I tried to do those things. And I think that was, and the way I did that though was like by showing up, by caring, by, doing the shitty work, like not being asked to go and, clean up the range, or to stay late and make sure everything got put away properly. And I think that's one of the best ways any rookie, any like junior man or woman like yourself, is to like spend way less time talking and way more time listening. Odd as I just ramble on, but yeah, way less time talking, way more time listening and watching and doing,
Right.
and prove yourself in that manner.
Good.
Leonidas, you ever, know the story 300, like they talk about that guy. That's an outstanding book too. The Gates of Hell or Gates of Fire by Pressfield. One of the best books I've ever read. And in that book, they talk about King Leonidas, and everybody's watched the crazy movie 300, but him, like, out there with his troops, building the block walls to stop the invasions that were happening, being the last man there and being the first man standing in battle, at the front of those, old school spear shields that they used to set up, right? And I think that's huge for leadership. I think that's really, really lacking in the world now, is that leaders and CEOs, they're just, they're paying themselves, 200% more than everybody else, and they're never in jeopardy. They're just staying safe. Very,
Right.
very, very rarely being seen.
Good.
Yeah,
That's great.
I think we covered a ton there, man.
Definitely.
Yeah, let's call her there, I think. What do you think?
Sounds good.
All right. Cheers to that.
Good.
Thanks everyone
Cheers.
for tuning in. We got tons of questions. We're actually going to use a few of these as, I think, hero topics for the show. So if you like our show, please go on there, give us a review. We don't ask for much. Give us a review, give us a 5-star review. All those things you hear everybody else talk about, we could use a few. We're killing it. We got well over 15,000 views and listens to it right now. We're so proud of this show. Well over 40 episodes. If you like what we're doing, please do us a favor and do that. Everybody take care. Thank you. We'll see you in the next episode.
That's a wrap. See ya.
Now is the time to take action. Now's the time to do more and be more.